Hi, I'm so excited because I've just finished reading the most entertaining book that I've read in a long time, and that is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Quite a lengthy read, but it's got really great stuff. Now, before I even get into the story, I want to say that it is
really awesome.
It is for mature adults to read due to some of the graphic content. So keep that in mind. It's a very dark kind of story, but very powerful and very expertly written. But I just want to throw that out there. If you're not prepared, some of this stuff might make you squirm. That being said, Neil Gaiman, the author, is an insanely talented writer. When I started reading this book, I was so involved with his style of writing that I actually purchased 2 more of his books. And I intend to read them as soon as I finish recording this video. So I better hurry up. But let's get into the storyline. Or maybe actually, let me explain the setting first. Okay, so the setting is combined many different folk creatures, not so much fairy tales, but like anything from Norse gods to jinn to leprechauns to even corpse brides, ghosts. All of them are intermingled and woven into one incredible fictional world. So there's the setting, and the plot follows a character called Shadow, who is really likable, I'll add, and gets released from prison, actually, and all this information you can get from the back of the book, which actually I think I'm going to read you the back of the book. Let's see here. Okay. It is the story of Shadow, released from prison just days after his wife and best friend are killed in an accident. He gets recruited to be a bodyguard, driver, and errand boy for an enigmatic trickster, Mr. Wednesday. So begins Shadow's dark and strange road trip, one that introduces him to a host of eccentric characters whose fates are mysteriously intertwined with his own. For beneath the placid surface of everyday life, a storm is brewing, an epic war for the very soul of America, and Shadow is standing squarely in its path. USA Today says, pointed, occasionally comic, often scary, consistently moving, and provocative. Original, engrossing, and endlessly inventive, says George R.R. Martin. That's all the information that you can get from the back of the book. Okay, so I'm just going to try to get through what I've written here. Hopefully it comes across okay. I'm not going to go too much further into the storyline, but I want to talk more about the undertone themes of the book. The author, Neil Gaiman, is from England, and I read that when he came up with the idea for this book, and while he was writing it, he was in America and road tripping through most of the country. I believe plotting or mapping where the main characters of the story were going to travel to. Like, there wasn't a place mentioned in the story where Neil Gaiman hadn't traveled through, which adds a level of authentication to the book. Of course, the writer was a man from England, and I read that he didn't understand at first all of American culture. So this was sort of his take of what and how he thought Americans and the United States is like. But he pretty much hits the nail right on the head. I'd say I just thought I'd share that tidbit of information. Themes. Okay, that's why I brought this up. Okay, so one major theme of the story is all of these old world beliefs and gods coming to the new world from older countries. I hope that's making sense. And it's talked about when people were first traveling to America, before it became these United States of America, when many people were immigrating, they brought their superstitions to America as well and fed these superstitions with their energy. And that's how many of the old gods became in the country. And the old gods, or folk creatures, have been living amongst people, occasionally feeding off of them to stay alive, but many Americans don't believe in the same superstitions anymore. So these old gods mostly are kind of weak and just sort of keeping a low profile enough to get by. Now, the conflict is that the new gods are coming to America, and they plan to kind of invade the old gods' territory, and everyone's threatened, and there's supposed to be an epic war. Kind of regretting this choice in hat. I don't know. I'm not really used to seeing myself in hats. It's summertime, so starting to get excited, and I picked up this hat, and I've been waiting to wear it. I've got an event to go to this weekend where I'm going to wear it for the first time, but I thought, I don't know, I just put it on for the video. So, beloved Shadow, the main character, who was detained in prison for 3 years for doing what his wife wanted him to do, then gets released from prison to be pulled into Mr. Wednesday's shitstorm and does everything he wants him to do. Well, by the end of the book, Shadow really gets wise, and it's just beautiful. I mean, 10 out of 10 stars. Amazing, wonderful book. So it is a really good story. It's probably going to be the best book that I read all year, I dare to say, and I plan to read a lot of books. So, but it was really good, really entertaining, very rewarding to read. I don't know if you guys comprehended what I was trying to say earlier, what I wrote down when I was reading. I really enjoy this style of writing and storytelling as the author. He's just very, very creative. And the way that he tells a story is just so... I'm at a loss of words. And they have like side stories that all intermingle, and like some of the key gods that you can read about and their storylines of how they came to America and how they were brought over. And the underlining theme is very interesting, especially being told by somebody not from America. an Englishman. They have a picture of him in the back of the book if you're interested. That's Neil Gaiman. Says here, he's a best-selling author of more than 20 books and the recipient of numerous literary honors. Originally from England, he now lives in America. And it says here, winner of the Hugo and Nebula Awards for Best Novel. And it says here on the front, this is I want to say this is the 10th anniversary book that I have. Like, they have a few different prints, or I don't know what it's called, of books, and this one was the 10th anniversary one. So it says the best-selling underground novel. Not so much underground anymore, I imagine, since I heard that they're making, or they've already made a show about it, American Gods. If you watch that show, feel free to comment and let me know what you think about the show. If you've read this book before, because it's not a new book. It's been around for quite some time now, underground, before everybody caught wise to how amazing it is, and that's how I caught wind of it also. And it is really, really great. Neil Gaiman. While I was actually reading this book, I learned that Neil Gaiman is responsible for the children's novel book Coraline, which my daughter and I love that movie Coraline. And that was based off of a book that Neil Gaiman wrote. So he's really great. Well, alright guys, I think that's all I have to say about American Gods in this book recommendation. I hope that you go out and you read it. Very, very entertaining, very masterfully written and expertly written. Really, really great read. So consider it, okay? Alright. If you enjoyed this video, please like. If you want to hear more of my book recommendations, then be sure to subscribe.
And just tap on here.